Political leaders will tell us that climate change, an appropriate response to climate change, is the moral challenge of this century, which is true. It's also, to my mind, the economic, social, business challenge as well. And despite the fact that we hear that sort of rhetoric, we see very little progress towards responding appropriately, and there's no sense of urgency, as there should be, about the magnitude of the task that's before us. And so I think it's very significant that a book written by basically a scientist has been brought out in this environment in Australia today to start to argue the case a little bit more broadly than just a scientific argument. To actually argue that there's a very strong business case here, very strong social case here for responding appropriately to climate change. Demonstrating the urgency of the problem, and to my mind, if we don't reduce emissions, or don't aim to reduce emissions by at least 90% by 2050, we're not responding appropriately. The thing that frustrates people like me who've been involved in public life and debating this issue for many, many years now, is it's very hard to get a sensible hearing. And one of the main reasons you don't get a sensible hearing is that the business community can't see beyond the end of their nose. They can't see the phenomenal opportunities that are inherent in a clean industrial revolution. The problem is that they start from the assumption in their economic models that it must be detrimental to growth. Just let's determine how much growth is going to fall off. And so you get all these studies being done saying that growth will fall by 0.3 or 0.5 or 1 or 1.5 or whatever in whatever period. But the fact is, and having done a lot of this modelling myself over many years, those models are not capable of answering that question. They are not capable of looking at the issue of how you generate new activity, new industry, an industrial revolution. You can't just sort of add an industrial revolution to the Treasury model and figure it's going to happen. It just doesn't happen that way. So we have this very distorted debate right now where the business community is doing what they always do, that's resist, say no, can't afford to do it, no, it'll be detrimental to our industry, no, it's going to drive industry offshore, no, we won't be able to compete, whatever. And most of those arguments, when you put them to examination, are nonsense. The aluminium smelting industry, for example, says that they're going to shift their smelters off to Indonesia. As if you can pick up a smelter and put it in a knapsack and just join a boat going the other way and drop it off in Indonesia and rebuild it. It just doesn't happen. But the business opportunities that exist in an industrial revolution, a low carbon economy, a clean industrial revolution, are phenomenal. And so I started getting involved in a range of businesses that actually proved the point and actually showed that you can make a quid. Recycling household garbage, for example, we built the first household garbage recycling plant at Eastern Creek, where you can extract all the paper, glass, metal, methane gas, turn it into power, use it to run the plant and so on. You can make money out of garbage and come up with a sensible, climate change responsible solution. But again, if you're too far ahead in the private sector, you have trouble generating enough cash to do the R&D that's essential to this clean industrial revolution. So we need governments to actually step up to the plate and create an environment in which that sort of research and development work will get done. And unfortunately, when you get a policy on climate change, you see initially the emissions trading scheme is going to auction some permits, generate some cash, then all that cash is being given back to people to cushion the impact of the fact you're going to have a price on carbon. Nonsensical. You want the price on carbon to hit where it ought to hit. The heavy polluting industries in particular should get hit in that sense. You can give them time and that, but you shouldn't be compensating them. You shouldn't be giving them free permits. And you should be using the cash you generate from auctioning, in a pure sense, as emissions permits, to actually fund a revolution in technology and research and development that would give you a clean industrial revolution.